Emma adjusted her backpack, stepping onto the bus with her usual morning routine, earbuds in, eyes scanning for a familiar empty seat. As she slid into her spot near the window, she noticed him again, the boy with the sketchbook. He always sat a few rows ahead, his head slightly tilted as his pencil danced across the page. Today, curiosity got the better of her. Emma leaned forward, catching glimpses of his sketches, cityscapes, random faces, and once a beautifully detailed sketch of an elderly couple on a park bench, their faces etched with a lifetime of shared stories. She couldn't help but smile. The bus jerked suddenly, and Emma lost her balance, her books tumbling from her lap. Before she could react, a strong hand caught her arm, steadying her. "Whoa, you okay there?" he asked, his deep, gentle voice breaking through the sound from her earbuds. Emma blinked, realizing it was him, the boy with the sketchbook, his gray eyes filled with a mild concern that made her cheeks warm. "Yeah, thanks," she stammered, embarrassed by her clumsiness as she gathered her scattered belongings. "I'm Liam," he added with a lopsided grin that crinkled his eyes before turning back to his notebook, leaving Emma with a strangely fluttering heart. The name echoed. Liam. The next morning, Emma noticed Liam glance her way as she boarded. Their eyes met briefly, a spark of recognition, and he shifted his bag off the seat beside him, a silent invitation. She hesitated for a heartbeat, then took it, sliding into the worn seat. "Hey," he greeted, sketchbook still in hand, a fresh page open. "Hey," she replied, awkwardly clutching her coffee, suddenly aware of her own hands. Curiosity stirred in her. "What are you always drawing?" she finally asked. Liam's face lit up as he tilted his sketchbook toward her, shy pride in his gesture. "Random stuff, just things I notice." "People, places, moments, I guess." Emma admired his talent, the way his lines captured life with precision and feeling. "You're really good. Seriously." "Thanks," he muttered, a hint of shyness peeking through his confident smile, a faint blush on his cheekbones. From then on, mornings felt different, imbued with a quiet anticipation. They shared casual conversations, short and tentative at first, then deeper over time. Liam talked about his passion for art, revealing how he'd struggled to choose between engineering, his parents' preferred path, and pursuing his creative dream, a path that felt exhilarating and terrifying. Emma opened up about her own struggles, balancing demanding studies with the pressure to excel, to always be perfect. She spoke of late nights, early mornings, the fear of not being good enough. One morning, as icy rain pelted the bus windows, a relentless tattoo, Emma boarded without her umbrella, her hair damp and clinging to her forehead. Before she could complain, Liam unzipped his worn grey hoodie, smelling faintly of charcoal and him, and draped it over her shoulders. "Can't have you freezing," he said with a playful wink that made her stomach flip. Emma blushed, pulling the soft fabric closer. "Thanks, Liam. You're a lifesaver." For the rest of the ride, she sat cocooned in his oversized hoodie, a warmth spreading deeper than just from the fabric. Each morning after, her heart skipped faster whenever she boarded the bus. It wasn't just the bus rides anymore. It was him, his quiet presence, the way he always seemed to notice her even in a crowded space, and the way he made her feel seen, truly seen, as no one else ever had. Emma found herself looking forward to mornings more than ever. Each day, Liam was there, saving her a seat without a word, an unspoken ritual, as if it had always been hers. Their conversations flowed naturally now, laughter filling the space between them. "You're seriously telling me you've never watched The Breakfast Club?" Emma teased one morning, eyes wide in mock disbelief. Liam chuckled, a low, pleasant sound. "Hey,
I've seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That counts, right?
Classic 80s? Barely, she shot back, grinning. You have catching up to do. Their talk stretched beyond movies. Liam spoke about his art, how sketching felt like a language he couldn't express with words, a way to capture the beauty and occasional ugliness of the world. Emma confided in him about her worries, balancing her part-time job, schoolwork, and the pressure to keep up appearances. Liam listened, really listened, head tilted, gaze focused, in a way that made her feel lighter. One frosty morning, Emma climbed onto the bus, hands shivering even through her gloves. As she settled in, Liam handed her a steaming cup of coffee. "Hazelnut latte," he said, breath misting. "Extra shot." "Thought you could use it." Emma stared at the cup, surprised and touched. "You remembered? I only mentioned it once." "You mentioned it once," he confirmed with a shrug, acting casual, though a small smile played on his lips. "Figured you'd like it." But Emma knew better. Little things like that weren't random, they were intentional. She smiled, warmth blooming inside her. Days passed. Their connection deepened, an invisible thread weaving them closer. Emma started noticing details about him too. The way he tapped his pencil on his sketchbook when thinking, the faint dimples that appeared when he laughed, how his eyes softened when he looked at her. One morning, Emma spotted him outside the bus window, standing in a sudden downpour, without a jacket, dark hair plastered to his forehead. She rushed off the bus, running toward him, umbrella forgotten. "Liam, what are you doing?" she asked, breathless, rain instantly soaking her. "Missed the bus," he said with a sheepish grin, water dripping from his eyelashes. "Alarm didn't go off." "You'll get sick," she scolded gently. Without thinking, Emma tugged off her warm knitted scarf and wrapped it around his neck, fingers brushing his cold skin. Liam froze, surprised, his eyes wide. "You didn't have to, Emma." "I know," she said, smiling up at him, rain on her face too, "but I wanted to." The way he looked at her then, a raw, unguarded intensity, like she was rare and special, stayed with her all day. Later that evening, as Emma sat at her desk, trying to study, her thoughts kept drifting to him. His smile, his quiet kindness, the way he felt safe, like a calm harbor. For the first time in a long while, she didn't just feel like she was managing her days. She felt like she was living them, and Liam had somehow unexpectedly become part of that. Emma's mornings felt incomplete without Liam's smile, his saved seat. But one day, everything shifted as she stepped onto the bus. She overheard him talking to friends near the back. "She's cool," Liam said casually, his tone dismissive. "But it's nothing serious, just a bus buddy." Emma froze, her backpack slipping. The warmth she'd felt vanished, replaced by a dull ache in her chest. She quietly found a seat alone, staring blankly as streets blurred past. For the next few days, she avoided him. When he glanced her way, she pretended not to notice. When he tried to catch her after class, she walked faster. The seat beside him on the bus stayed empty. Liam's absence hit harder than she expected. Mornings felt colder, quieter. She missed his jokes, his thoughtful gestures, how he always seemed to know what she needed. One evening, as Emma trudged home, she noticed something on her doorstep, a folded paper tucked beneath a small stone. Curiosity got the better of her. Unfolding it, her breath caught. It was a sketch of her. Not just any sketch, but one filled with tenderness. She was smiling, hair tucked behind her ear, eyes bright. The detail was stunning, delicate strokes capturing her in a way she never saw herself. Below it, Liam's handwriting read, "I'm sorry, I messed up, big time. Please, talk to me, Emma."
The next morning, Emma hesitated at the bus stop, heart pounding. When the bus arrived, Liam was there, by the door, sketchbook absent, expression anxious. His face lit up with relief when he saw her.
"Hey," he said softly. "I was hoping you'd show." Emma folded her arms, trying to maintain her anger. "So I'm nothing serious, huh? Just a bus buddy?" Liam winced.
I didn't mean it like that, Emma. Not at all. My friends, they were teasing me and I panicked.
"Said something stupid." He rubbed the back of his neck. "The truth is, you're the best part of my mornings, my days."
I just didn't know how to explain that without sounding weird. Emma's frustration softened. "You're an idiot, Liam," she muttered, but no real anger remained. "I know," Liam said with a faint apologetic smile.
"A complete idiot, but if it helps, I meant every word in the note. That sketch, that's how I really see you." For the first time in days, Emma smiled back, small, tentative.
"Yeah," she admitted, "it helps. A little." Emma wasn't sure what to expect, but things slowly returned to normal. Only now something felt different, a new layer added. Their conversations felt warmer, smiles lingered longer, and shared glances carried unspoken words. One evening, as they walked home after a late class, Liam slowed. "There's something I need to say," he started, voice quiet. "I wasn't completely honest before." Emma glanced at him, curious. "I didn't just panic when my friends teased. I mean, I did, but I also downplayed everything because I'm scared." "Scared?" she echoed.
"Of what?" "Of messing this up," he said, eyes meeting hers, raw and vulnerable. "You mean a lot to me, Emma, more than I expected, and I didn't know how to handle that." For a moment, she didn't know how to respond. His words caught her off guard, yet felt so genuine.
"I get it," she said softly. "I was scared too, still am." Liam smiled, relief crossing his face.
"Well," he said, smile growing, "maybe we can be scared together then." The next morning, Emma climbed onto the bus, spotting Liam waiting, a coffee in one hand, a folded sketch in the other. He grinned sheepishly as she sat beside him. "You're seriously bribing me with caffeine and art?" she teased.
"Hey, I know what works," he shot back, handing her the sketch. It was another drawing, them side by side on the bus, her head on his shoulder, both smiling. "You're really good at this," she said, voice softer. "I had a good muse," he replied, smile wider, eyes warm. The bus rumbled along, but for Emma, the world outside barely mattered. She leaned her head against Liam's shoulder, his arm resting comfortably around her.
"You know," she murmured, "you're the best part of my mornings too." Liam chuckled softly, fingers intertwining with hers. "Yeah," he said, voice filled with quiet confidence. "I know." Days passed, their bond deepened. Emma noticed small things, how Liam always turned when she spoke, like her words mattered most, how his sketches included details no one else would, the way her fingers curled around her coffee cup or her hair tucked behind her ear.
He captured her quirks, vulnerabilities, strengths. One autumn afternoon, walking after class, Liam stopped outside a small art gallery. "I've been meaning to show you something," he said, voice hesitant, curious. Emma followed him inside. The room smelled of paint and old wood. Framed pieces lined the walls. Near the corner, Emma froze. There, in soft pencil strokes, was a drawing of her. Not just her face, but her expression. Thoughtful, focused, somehow peaceful and strong. It was the sketch from his note, but larger, framed. "You put this in a gallery?" she asked, turning to him, awed. "Wasn't going to," Liam admitted, a faint blush on his neck.
felt too personal, but my art professor saw it, encouraged me, and, well, you're kind of my best work, Emma. Her heart swelled. Liam, this is amazing, she managed. You're amazing, he corrected softly, gaze unwavering. For a moment, neither spoke. The warmth in his eyes held her, and before she could overthink, Emma reached for his hand.
I'm really glad I tripped that day, she said with a smile. Liam laughed softly, fingers closing around hers. Me too, Emma.
Me too. It's funny how small moments can lead to something significant, isn't it? What's a seemingly small moment in your life that turned out to be a major turning point? Share your story in the comments. I'd genuinely love to read them.
And hey, if you're enjoying Emma and Liam's journey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the little bell so you don't miss where their story goes. The next morning on the bus, Emma leaned her head against his shoulder without hesitation, the gesture natural. Liam shifted, his arm wrapping around her like it belonged. The world outside blurred, but neither noticed, cocooned in their shared contentment. I was thinking, Liam said after a while, maybe you could be my next muse, for real, not just sketches. Emma tilted her head. You mean like pose for you? Yeah, he grinned. But no pressure. You can just sit there being your amazing self. Emma laughed, fingers tightening around his. Sounds perfect, she said. Weeks turned into months. What started as quiet moments on the bus grew into something far more meaningful. Liam became part of Emma's routine, not just during morning rides. They studied at the library, grabbed late-night snacks, and walked home side by side. One evening, on a park bench, Liam pulled out his sketchbook. Sit still, he said, pencil moving. Emma smiled, watching his concentrated expression, brow furrowed, fingers smudging shadows. She loved how focused he became, like nothing else existed. What's this one for? She asked softly. He paused. For me, I guess. For you. Liam shrugged. Yeah, sometimes I draw just to remember things exactly how they are. Not perfect, just real. Emma's chest tightened. She knew he wasn't just talking about art. I like that, she said. The next morning on the bus, Liam seemed quieter. His hand fidgeted. He kept glancing at her. You okay? Emma asked. Yeah, he said quickly. Actually, no. His fingers gripped his sketchbook. There's this art program in New York. Emma felt her stomach dip. New York felt 1,000,000 miles away. It's a summer program, he added. Just a few months, but it's a big deal. I didn't think I'd get in. That's amazing, Liam, she said, forcing a smile. You should go. I don't know. His voice trailed off. I mean, yes, it's incredible, but I'd miss this. He gestured between them. Her smile faltered. She knew what he meant. The thought of mornings without him felt like a physical ache. You have to do this, she said firmly. It's what you've always wanted. I know, Liam said, looking at her, his eyes filled with turmoil. I know you're right, but you're what I want too, Emma. For a moment, the weight of his words filled the air. You'll come back, she said quietly, a plea. Right, of course, he promised. Couldn't stay away, it's just for the summer. The morning he left, Emma met him at the bus stop, not their usual one. This was sleek, bound for the airport. The air was thick with unspoken emotions. So, Emma said, trying for a light tone, New York, huh? Big shot. Liam managed a weak smile. Hardly. More like terrified kid. He shifted his duffel bag. This is an adventure. An amazing adventure, she corrected, straightening his jacket collar. You'll be brilliant. What if I'm not? He whispered. What if I'm not good enough? Emma took his hands.
Don't you dare. You are more than good enough. You are exceptional. New York needs your art. His eyes searched hers. And you? He asked, voice husky. Will you be okay?
I'll miss you like crazy, she admitted.
Bus rides will suck, but I'll be okay. We'll be okay. The bus doors hissed open. Liam pulled her into a tight hug. Thank you, Emma, he whispered, for everything. Always, she choked out.
He pulled back, eyes bright.
All right, Liam said, voice soft. I'll call.
Every day if you want. Emma smiled, despite the lump in her throat. Every day, she confirmed. Hold you to that. He gave her one last, lingering look, then boarded.
Emma stood, waving until the bus disappeared, taking a piece of her heart. Long-distance relationships. Tough, right? Ever been in one or said goodbye to someone for a period?
What's the hardest part, and how do you keep connection strong? Share your wisdom in the comments. We could all use advice. And if you're invested in Emma and Liam, give this story a like.
The first weeks were hardest. The empty seat beside her was a glaring reminder. Her phone became her lifeline.
Liam called or FaceTimed nightly, despite time differences and his schedule. He'd show her his tiny dorm, new sketches, the overwhelming chaos of New York. He sounded tired but exhilarated, passion ignited.
Emma told him about her classes, job, mundane details now less colorful. She threw herself into studies, trying to fill the void. She even bought a sketchbook, attempting to capture her world, though her efforts felt clumsy.
It wasn't about becoming an artist. It was about understanding his world, feeling closer. Distance began to take its toll. Dropped calls, rescheduled FaceTimes.
Doubts crept in. Was this sustainable? Was she just a summer memory?
Liam, too, sometimes sounded overwhelmed. One week his calls became shorter, texts less frequent. Emma's anxiety spiked.
She saw a picture on social media. Liam, smiling, a girl with pink hair laughing beside him, hand on his arm. Innocent, probably. But to Emma, miles away, it felt like a punch. That night, she didn't answer his call. Silence stretched for 2 agonizing days. Emma was miserable, replaying the photo, his distance, her fears. Finally, a new sketch appeared in her inbox, not of her, of a single empty bus seat, lonely morning light across it.
Below, a simple message. This city is amazing, art incredible, but it all feels empty without my favorite muse. What's wrong, Em? Did I do something? Please talk to me. Miss your voice more than I can draw. Tears streamed down Emma's face. She picked up her phone, hand trembling, and hit call.
Emma! Liam's voice was thick with relief. Thank God. Been going out of my mind.
What happened?
She told him, voice choked about the photo, insecurities, fear of being forgotten. Liam listened patiently, then sighed. Oh, Emma, he said softly.
That girl Maya? Just a classmate, a friend.
There's no one else for me but you. I've been swamped, yes, stressed, and maybe I haven't been the best at showing it, but you're it, that empty seat.
That's how I feel every day here without you. They talked for hours, clearing the air, reaffirming their connection. Distance hadn't broken them. It had forced them to be more honest. The rest of the summer passed in a blur of calls, shared inspirations, and growing anticipation for his return.
Liam thrived, talent blossoming, but never let Emma feel secondary. He sent small gifts, a postcard, a stone from Central Park, a pressed flower, each a reminder. Emma focused on her own goals, acing courses,
even submitting a sketch to a campus art show on a whim and having it accepted. She was becoming her own person, growing alongside him. The day of his return felt like Christmas. Emma vibrated with excitement waiting at the bus station. When he finally stepped off, duffel bag slung, hair longer, eyes tired but shining, she sobbed with joy. He dropped his bag, pulled her into a hug that lifted her, spinning her around. "I missed you," he whispered into her hair. "I missed you more," she managed. They stood holding each other, the station noise fading. Distance had been hard, but forged something stronger. In the weeks that followed, they fell back into their rhythm, but new, richer. Liam was full of New York stories, art infused with new confidence. He planned gallery submissions, maybe full-time art school there. Emma listened, supportive, proud, her own future feeling clearer. Her sketching had sparked a new interest. One afternoon on their park bench, Liam took her hand. "So," he said, eyes serious but soft. "New York." "Full-time, big step, and far." Emma's heart flipped. "It is," she agreed. "And I can't imagine doing it without you being a part of my life, Emma," he continued. "Whether that means you eventually joining me, or us figuring out a new everyday call or something else. I just know I want you in my what's next." She looked at him, this boy from the bus who had seen her, truly seen her, and shown her how to see herself. Fear was still there, a whisper, but overshadowed by a much stronger feeling, love and belief in them. "You know, Liam," she said, a slow smile spreading, "I've always kind of wanted to see New York." His answering grin was dazzling. "Is that a yes to being scared together again?" "That," she said, leaning in to kiss him, a kiss filled with promise and shared dreams, "is a definite maybe to all of the above." The journey wasn't over. It was simply taking a new, exciting turn. They were young, paths unfolding, but they had found something precious, a muse, confidant, partner, and a love that felt as real and vibrant as Liam's most heartfelt sketches. The bus ride started it all, but their story was destined for places far beyond those streets. It was a story they would continue to write together, one line, one touch, one dream at a time, making each day more colorful, more alive. And that, my friends, is where we'll leave Emma and Liam for now, on the cusp of new adventures. What do you think the future holds for them? Can young love conquer distance and individual dreams? I'd love to hear your perspectives in the comments. Thank you for joining their journey. If this story resonated, please show love with a like and subscribe with notifications on, because there are always more stories. Until next time, keep your heart open to unexpected connections.